Good afternoon, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the home studio today on the 16th day of August in the year 2023. Sure hope you're enjoying your Tuesday, no matter where it is you are in the country. And today's Observer Live is going to be a little bit different than most because, as most of you know by now, Barbara Cifelli-Sherry died on Saturday at the age of 80. And Barbara was currently serving the town of Kearney as the deputy mayor, which is generally a ceremonial position, but one that she took very seriously. She was a retired member of the Kearney Town Council, where she served for many years in the 2nd Ward. And she also was a former member of the Kearney Board of Education as well. And she served on the board, I believe it was 6 years, maybe it was 9, but I'm pretty sure it was 6. But no matter what it was, Barbara loved being of public service. That's her. If you are not familiar with who she is, in the center of the picture right there, and in the picture with her is her brother, Al Cifelli, who is a Hudson County commissioner, and their late mom, Vera, in the right-hand corner of the picture, the right-hand side. Barbara died too quickly. You know, I was sitting at home on Saturday morning and my phone rang, and the person who called me said, I hope you're sitting down, but Barbara Sherry died this morning. And I just thought it was a joke of some sort, you know, some kind of horrible joke. Not that anybody would, I don't think anybody would ever make such a crude joke, but it just threw me for a loop right away when I heard that news that she was gone. Because, you know, if you knew anything about Barbara, you know that she loved to share her opinion on politics. And she was on Facebook the night before. I think it was about 4 p.m., and she was posting things on Facebook like nothing in the world was any different than it is today, which it is, of course. But she, I guess, went to bed on Friday night, and then she never woke up. She never woke up. And I wrote a column about Barbara earlier this week, and actually it was the end of last week. And when I first met her, I want to say it was probably around 1997. We didn't get along very much at all. In fact, in 1998, that was the first year that I took a big shot at running for political office, and I was hoping to join her up on the dais as a 2nd Ward councilman. I lived in the 2nd Ward at the time, and I know one thing. At that time, I was only 23 years old, and I was still a babe, really, in the greater scheme of things. And so often, when I would get up at the microphone, I would yell and scream at her, and I would write letters all the time to the Observer, to the Jersey Journal, to the Hudson Press, and slam her for her position on things. And yet, as I grew older and I look back at Barbara and the things that she said, I realized that I wasn't disagreeing because I disagreed with her. I was just disagreeing with her to be disagreeable. Does that make any sense? I realized at an older age that for the most part we agreed on so many things. And that's because when she bled the red and black of Kearney. That was who she was. She was a woman who gave her entire life to be of service, especially in the latter years. You know, she worked too. You know, she had a big role in the family business, Cifelli's Restaurant in Harrison, which is now La Fiamma, but was Cifelli's for so many years, and she was always there, and everybody loved her. Everybody who knew her loved her. And you just know that when something was happening in the town, she would have some part in it. whether it was at a parade, whether it was a flag raising, a wedding ceremony. She was just always there because that was what she did. She bled for this town and she loved it. I remember going back and somebody wrote a letter about how Kearney was changing, and it was all for the worse. And the person who wrote the letter said something about how when you walk around Kearney, you can't even hear the English language. And to a degree, that is true. There's a lot of Spanish speakers in Kearney. But the person who was writing the letter was very, very nasty about it. And she read that letter, and it boiled her blood to no end. And I remember she wrote a response to that person, who I doubt ever wrote another letter again, because whoever it was, and I can't say I remember who it was put to shame, because she loved the diversity that there is in this town. She loved the people. She loved everything about it. And that's what she did for so many years. She took that love, she gave it to others, and she served as best as she could. And for many, many years, she was up there. And then when she moved to the 3rd Ward from the 2nd Ward, she had to resign. And that's when she took over and ran and won the Board of Education in Kearney as well. And so today, on the day where she will be waked at the Armitage and Wiggins Funeral Home on Belgrove Drive, I think it's 3 to 7 today. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., there will be a Mass celebrated by Father Joe Mancini, the pastor of St. Stephen's Church, and I'm sure there will be other celebrants there as well, because everybody loved her. Everybody did, just as I did too, even though we didn't get along at the beginning. We say goodbye to her, as hard as that is to even fathom. She always looked healthy, as she was, and she was always happy, always positive. And I got an email from her brother Al yesterday, and he said, even if she didn't agree with you, she didn't dislike you for that. She still had love for people who didn't agree with her. But she was always certain that they would come to her side at some point in time, and in many cases, that's exactly what happened. I know I can say that is exactly what happened for me. She touched my life in a way that I will never be able to repay. She really did. And I'm sure everybody who's watching this and everybody who will be at the funeral parlor today and at St. Stephen's tomorrow will have a Barbara story to share, and every single one of them are probably going to be epic, because all she ever did was love people, and because of that, people just loved her back. And I know on this day in August, I am going to miss her terribly, and I know you will too. If you knew her and loved her the way I did and the way so many people did, you cannot help but know you will miss her, and it'll never be the same without her. God bless you, Barbara, and to her family, we wish them all of the love imaginable during this horrible time of grief. It's 1:40 here on the Observer Live, and this week's newspaper will be out tomorrow morning, so I hope you will all pick it up and read through it. I wrote a story this week about the Junior Police Academy in Kearney that I hope that everybody will read, and it was really a pleasure to be able to do that. I had a chance to sit down with 4 members of the COP unit and pull something together, and it was really an enjoyable piece that I got to do. So I hope you'll check that out tomorrow in addition to the rest of the newspaper. There are 2 pages of classifieds, of course, so if you need some place to rent or if you are looking to buy something or sell something, you'll find something there as well. And then, of course, we will be back a week from today And if any news breaks during the course of the week, we will certainly let you know as well at theobserver.com or through a live broadcast as well. But we're going to wrap it up for today from the home studio. It's Kevin Canessa signing off for now, and I hope to see you back here again very, very soon. And once again, I love you, Barbara, and I will miss you. Take care, everybody.